Welcome to today's video on inclusion and diversity in the Swiss education system. My name is Nalini Bajram. So let's start off. What is diversity leadership? Diversity leadership means recognizing that cultural preferences differ and adapting strategies and processes that work for more group members. So what exactly is diversity? Diversity as a concept encompasses many qualities, some of which might be easily visible, for example, like race, gender, religious affiliations, and disabilities, and others are less visible in terms of their class and sexual orientation. So what is inclusion? So inclusion means accepting everyone. So inclusion in education refers to all the students being able to access and gain equal opportunities to education and learning. So how can leaders promote diversity? Well, first and foremost, they must foster a more inclusive culture in which everyone feels welcome and accepted, boost that morale, have engagement and productivity, inspire and empower diverse talent at the lower levels of the organization to push success. So what requirements must a diversity leader have? There definitely needs to be self-aware, have that inclusion aspect, must promote equality, understand differences, meaning the different cultural dynamics in society, have collaborations, have that balance in leadership, and manage power and privilege efficiently, and most importantly, they must have that good communicative skills. So my justification for doing Switzerland. I chose the country Switzerland because their education system is ranked as one of the best as well as one of the most advanced in the world. The schools in Switzerland offer high quality education, and it is the go-to choice for many students wanting to study internationally. It also has some of the best universities there for higher education, but most importantly, I love that it is a multicultural society that shares a taste of the different immigrants there, and I am able to learn about the different cultures. So let's take a deeper look at Switzerland. So this is a country brief overview, sorry. So federal structure with 3 political levels. They are the Confederation, the Federal Capital Bern, Cantonal, which are made up of the 26 cantons, and communal. They are multi-ethnic and multilingual. Switzerland is a country with immense cultural diversity and living heritage. It is a geographical position between several countries like Germany, Italy, Austria, Liechtenstein, has influenced this cultural diversity, not to mention the influence of the 26 cantons have on the Swiss culture. So let's look at the Switzerland demographics. So population of Switzerland as of 2019 is 8.57 million. And that is in 2019. Definitely, we are in 2022 and that figure would have increased. 25.2% of the population is foreigners as of 2019. Again, that figure would have raised because we are in 2022. On the demographic chart here, you will see that the blue section is the males, the red section is the female, and on the side of the blue, we will have the gray section, which is the male foreigners, and on the side of the red, we have the female foreigners. And you would realize that 0.25% of the population is foreigners in Switzerland. Now let's look at the organization and governance of the Swiss education system. Since Switzerland has no natural resources, education and knowledge have become a very important resource here. In Switzerland, education is the government's responsibility from preschool to tertiary education. The education system here is split between the cantons and the confederations. Each canton has the sole responsibility for its compulsory schooling from primary and lower secondary, whereas the federal is responsible for the higher education, but the implementation is left up to the 26 cantons. Each canton is responsible for their education system, for implementing the education policies and the curriculum. Each canton has their own education policy and is responsible for their education system. Each canton may vary in terms of their names, the subjects, the starting age of the students, and the duration may vary significantly between the cantons. Now let's look at the Swiss education level. So you would see at the bottom, in purple, we have the preschool. Then in yellow, we have primary school. So we start off with preschool, which is compulsory, which takes 1 to 2 years. Primary school and lower secondary school is also compulsory, and they take nearly 9 years. And then you will see that you have mature schools, specialized middle school, vocational education, and those are for higher education, right? And above that, you will see universities, teacher training college, universities of applied sciences, and higher vocational education. So those are higher education. Those are tertiary level education, right? And the vocational and the special middle school and mature schools are upper secondary, because we have a lower secondary and upper secondary, and at tertiary level is the universities. So let's look at the diversity and inclusion exist in Swiss school system. So we see acceptance of children with disabilities. So a survey was done recently in Switzerland, and evidence of school integration of children with disabilities was led in 2 cantons. The results of the survey showed that inclusive education is working in the country. These same public inclusive school practice non-discrimination and give the right to basic education for children with physical disabilities, intellectual disabilities, or behavioral problems. The inclusive schools adjust to their specific needs, respect their well-being, and provide them with the necessary conditions to develop their potential. The classes also allow the other children to learn how to act when confronted to a peer with disabilities. In that said survey, 95% of the pupils without disabilities said that the disabled children were fully integrated in the class and they felt well studying together. So definitely we can see this experience showed an advantage for the children without disabilities as well as the children with disabilities. According to another report, the INSEMI report, under the provisions of the United Nations Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities signed by Switzerland in 2007, in which came in force in 2014, that contracting states must ensure that the education system will provide for inclusion at all levels and throughout the life. We also see that we have a multicultural education here in Switzerland. And teachers in Switzerland work with students from diverse sociocultural backgrounds because they also have a diverse set of language. They speak German. I think it's German, French, Romanish, and Italian, right? And it is not easy all the time because they work with students who have an entirely different culture from them. The cultural and linguistic diversity is integrated into initial teacher education programs. It means that teachers here have to be culturally responsive when dealing with students because it consists of Swiss nationals and foreign students. We have the acceptance of sexual orientation into the Swiss school system. One initiative that the schools in Swiss capital of Bern, teachers invite gays, bisexual, and transgender volunteers to meet students face-to-face and let them tell their stories to their students. So that is one initiative that the Swiss school system has done. Even though I have pointed out a lot of positive factors, it has never been so easy all the time. They had to implement a lot of policies and made a lot of corrections, because definitely they would have started off with racism, where the whites felt that they were more supreme than the black students, and there would not have been acceptance of sexual orientation in the beginning. But when the government saw that a huge amount of international students wanted to come to their country, they had no choice but to accept this cultural diversity, because they saw that it was bringing a positive to their country. So my conclusion here, Switzerland displays a strong cultural diversity, but more still needs to be done to ensure equality and inclusion for all. Globalization and tremendous demographic movements have changed the socio-cultural landscape of Switzerland. I believe educational leaders need to adapt with the times we are living in and be more accepting and open-minded. We need to set and create policies that benefit everyone: the students, the parents, the principal, the teachers, and stakeholders. I thank you. This is my presentation for the inclusion and diversity of Swiss education system.